Riley. Okay, good. Let's get started. So you have your foot rubs ball perhaps that you can use while we're talking for just 2 minutes. I'm going to infuse most of the information about osteoporosis when it's appropriate for what we're doing. So I'm not going to throw out a bunch of facts to you, but I do want to say that the work that we're doing today is a result of Lauren Fishman, Dr. Lauren Fishman. He's a medical doctor and a professor at Columbia University, also in charge of a rehab facility. So this is not just made up stuff. He did a controlled study. I don't think it was randomized, but he did a controlled study about yoga and osteoporosis. And you know, osteoporosis is just the imbalance of bone growth versus bone loss. And we peak our bone mass at age 30, and we start to lose it by age 35. And if you don't do eat healthy, a lot of green leafies, maybe some dairy if you're into that, and do your strengthening and your stretching exercises, then there could be an imbalance. So I don't think that's you guys. So I think what we're going to enjoy today is a really fairly vigorous practice that is going to include what he did was 12 exercises, 12 yoga poses that took 12 minutes. These people did them every other day for 2 years. And the people that did yoga, all else being equal, increased bone growth. And those who didn't do the yoga lost bone growth. All right, so yay, yoga. And it's a great balance for strengthening without creating impact. So those of us who have arthritis, it's just an amazing practice to build that bone strength. All right, so let's get started, and I'll infuse more fun facts as we go along. All right, so let's get present. We're going to transition from whatever we've been doing into this beautiful, creative, sacred space that you've made. So breathe in through the nose and out through an open mouth. So welcome yourself to your practice. That wonderful ha breath is that anti-anxiety, that natural. Invite the eyes to close as you take the inner landscape, tour of the inner landscape of your body. Just paying attention to any of those places in your body that are calling for your attention today. Might need a little more loving kindness, so not pushing through any pain. This yoga practice should feel good in your body, take you to your edge, but not to your ledge. Scanning from top to bottom and just noticing that snapshot of who and how you are today in this present moment. And when we start to follow the breath, that helps bring us to present moment because we can only notice the breath in real time in that moment. And now breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, just use that breath awareness to be sensitive to the sensations of the air moving into the nostrils and down the lungs. Breathing in, I know I'm breathing out. In, breathing out, I know I'm breathing out. And paying attention also to the physical body to notice where in your chest do you feel the greatest sense of movement with the breath. And taking that breath a little bit deeper down to the belly area above the navel. See if you can't invite that breath in so the belly softens and rounds. As you exhale, a gentle contraction. Release all the air. Once you think you've gotten rid of all the air, get rid of a little bit more. Wait for the need to breathe, to bubble up so that next breath can be rich and full. And as you exhale, a gentle contraction. Following these deep belly breaths a few more times to come to that place of rest, relax, and digest, just so we can learn. We learn when we're not stressed. And our yoga practice today is we're going to require that we hold some poses a little bit longer. The research shows that holding a pose for at least 8 to 10 seconds will help to create the biomechanics needed to build a bone cell, an osteoblast. In holding cells, sometimes we might start telling ourselves stories or letting go or getting fatigued. So I want you to consider using the Ujjayi breath, which brings in more focus, concentration, and strength. So as you breathe in through the nose, a nice full rich breath in, as you exhale, find that gentle constriction in the back of the throat, as if you are fogging a mirror with your lips closed around that, just creating that gentle ocean wave sound. Lengthening that exhalation. I'm stronger than I think I am. I can do this hard thing. While at the same time not pushing through pain, finding that beautiful balance of effort and ease. A couple more Ujjayi breaths just to practice that, knowing that those are available to you when you need them. And that's going to be up to you. And then come back to your normal natural breath. Bring the hands to the heart space, finger to finger, palm to palm. And as Reba McEntire says, today we're going to be tapping, what we need is a wishbone, a funny bone, and a backbone. So we're hopefully going to be tapping into all those bones today. I've got a few corny jokes for you today. So set an intention for your class today. And if you didn't come with one, that you are open to finding that place for hope, strength, and humor in your life. And then bow your head to your heart and lower your hands down to your thighs and gently blink your eyes open with a nice smile. And let's get the hands going a little bit. So we're going to be using our hands a lot with the weights. So we get that little, all the joints will be bending the fingers, curling in like bear claws, making a gentle fist, and then starfish. So bear claw, gentle fist, starfish. And a couple little fun facts about your hands is you have 27 bones in your hand. You have 29 joints in your hands, and you have 123 ligaments in your hands. Make that gentle fist and just rotate the thumb around. If you have arthritis in your thumb, this is where you're going to notice it. Did you know that you have no muscles in your fingers? Shake the hands out. Play the piano. And the reason that we work the palm of our hand and our forearms, because that's what controls your fingers. And we need to keep our grip strong. So strengthening the forearm. So if you're playing this piano here and really vigorously playing, you're going to feel some heat build up in your forearms. That's what we're looking for. All right, shake that out. Make some gentle fists with your wrists. So the fist is light, gentle fists. And then extend your arms long, make those fists a little bit tighter, and just notice if you feel anything across the top of the forearm. Go the other direction. Pay attention to what you feel on the inside out, that sensation, so you know who you are and how you are today. Stretch the fingers wide. Press out through the heels of the hand and soften your shoulders down. Stretch the fingers as wide as you can. Get the pinky as far away from the little finger as you can. Full breath in here, and then point the fingers down toward the floor. Right. Wrists are one of those bones that are really prone to breakage during if you have osteoporosis. All right, they're the third most common break. Shake that out. Just behind hip. And number one is thoracic spine. So we are going to be working our thoracic spine today. All right, grab your weights. All right, so we talked about those wrists. Grab your weights, and we're going to just work the wrists a little bit. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. Your arms are at a 90-degree angle from your body, and we're going to keep the everything stationary except the wrist. So you're just going to lift and lower those weights. Lift and lower those weights. All right, strengthening these bones. And while we're talking about using weights, you don't only have to use weights to strengthen bones. You can also, this little stress of the pull of the muscle when you stretch on the bones is also strengthening and building bone cells. Now turn your palms up and just keeping the forearms straight. Just lift and lower those wrists. So stretching and using your own body weight is really building bone cells as well. Now hammer. So it's a lateral movement. You're going up and down as if you're hammering something. Try to keep the elbows straight. All right, if you're bending your elbows up and down, don't. Don't let the elbows move. This is all in the wrist action, okay? All in the wrist action. All right, just a couple more here. You feel some heat build up in those forearms? That's going to keep those fingers strong too, right? All right, let's set those down for a moment. Keep everything within your reach, all right? Just like we had discussed. Press your hands back behind you and you're coming on the heels of the feet. Toes are lifted and feet are wide, sitting on that blanket, and just start to rock the knees side to side. Take your time with this. What I want you to sense is the sensation of the stretch from where the IT band attaches to the top of the leg there. You can't stretch your IT band. You shouldn't stretch your IT band because when you stretch the ligaments and tendons, they don't go back to normal. You know, you don't want to stretch them, but you want to stretch the structures around them. And then that little tugging on the bone is what's going to help build some bone cells. All right, a couple more, back and forth. All right, keep the knees pointed up. Keep your right knee up and keep the feet flexed, the toes lifted and spread to support the knee, and just bring that left knee in the direction of the right ankles. Press the hands into the earth and lift the heart space. And if you feel any discomfort in your knee, walk your leg away from you. We're feeling that stretch along the structures of the IT band, the outer hip. Toes are lifted and spread. Can you spread your toes? Get a little space between those toes. Work on that too. That'll strengthen the bottom of your foot. All right, and we'll slide that back up. Realign those hip bones and go the other direction. So we've really got that foot lifted, those toes lifted and spread. We're going to bring the knee in the direction of the opposite ankle. Press the hands into the earth and lift your heart. So here you're putting a little bit of weight on the back of your wrists as well, okay? And one thing Lauren Fishman brings up is, why do our arm bones not get osteoporosis? Because we're always using them, right? We're carrying groceries, we're lifting grandkids, we're moving furniture around, we're setting the table, we're unloading the dishwasher. We get a lot of use, and I know our legs do, but not as delicately, I think, as fine motor as we do with our arms. Okay, lift that knee up, and we're going to do something I don't think we've ever done this before. We're going to do a seated figure four. Okay, so the left foot is down, flex the right foot, lean back as much as you need to see if you can't get that ankle, right ankle on the left knee. See how my foot is flexed? Use your muscle energy and your breath to press the right knee away from you. And then if you want to slowly walk your hands towards your hips, keep the spine long and tall. If you're starting to round your back, stay leaning back. Keep the spine long. So we don't want to round the thoracic spine. And bring the belly toward that opening in your thigh. All right, only go as far as your spine can stay long and you feel sensation. So if you feel sensation back here, that's great. Take one more breath here. Good, release that. Wiggle back and forth, and we'll go to the other side. So flex that left foot first before you stick it up there. Lean back as much as you need to, soften your shoulders down, keep the shoulders away from the ears. Nice breath in as you press the knee away from you. Use that energy first. Feel sensation in the outer hip. I do. And then if you want, start to walk the hands back behind you towards your hip. Lengthen up through that spine. Keep your spine long and tall. Okay. One more breath. Good. All right, extend your legs long, rock them back and forth. All right, we're going to be moving into tabletop and cat-cow. I just want to show you something real quick. So when we talked about your thoracic spine, these are your vertebrae, and one of the greatest risk is wedge fractures. My mother-in-law has 3. And the greatest risk of having a second wedge fracture is having a first. And it happens when your bones are weak, but when you have kyphosis or rounded shoulders. That's why I'm always bugging you to strengthen these back muscles and keep the heart lifted, okay? This is the front of this is your front, all right? So when you crunch in, you're putting so much more weight and pressure on the vertebrae. So you break one, you're like this. You break two, you're like that. You break three, you're like that. And now your risk of falling forward is even worse. All right, so keep the visual in mind when you are thinking about your posture. Keep that heart lifted. Give space in those front vertebrae, you know. They are the number one fracture of vertebral fractures, number one fracture in osteoporosis. All right, so come down on your hands and knees. If you don't do hands and knees, use a chair. So you're going to place your hands on the back or the seat of the chair. All right, curl the toes under. Let's get a little flexion in the toes. If that doesn't feel good, put the tops of the feet down on the earth. Walk your hands just a tiny bit ahead of the shoulders to take pressure out of the wrists. And you know you can roll the mat up and put the heel of the hand on the lump of the mat. All right, now press your hands into the earth and use that as you press your fingers, pads your finger into the earth as well. And lift that front body toward the back body. Head and neck are in alignment. Now just feel this really strong table for a moment. And then as you're ready, take a breath in to prepare and exhale, lift those back ribs up. Okay, this is crunching those thoracic vertebrae. So if you have osteoporosis, don't do this real deeply. And as you inhale, sink the belly, lift the head, lift the heart, and think about how you're giving so much space now for those vertebral vertebrae. You're creating space here. Exhale, use the core strength too. So draw that belly in, lift those backwards up as much as is appropriate for your level of bone density. And then inhale, sink the belly, lift the head, lift the heart. Good, a couple more with your own breath. I'm going to just give you a couple statistics here that 55% of all Americans, including men and women, have low bone density. That's osteopenia or osteoporosis. Keep moving in this cat-cow. But 80% of those are women. And half of everyone that has low bone density is going to risk a osteopenic fracture at some point in their life. So not you guys, because you're doing what you can to prevent it. This is really important. All right, come back to neutral. Just wag the tail a bit. And walk your hands a paw print forward. All right, one paw print forward as we come into a little modified puppy pose. So we want to send the hips back a little bit, but bring the head in the direction of the upper arms. Spread the fingers, press the hands into the earth to engage the back body. So feel the shoulder blades draw toward each other as the head comes in the direction between the upper arms. It might not get all the way there, that's okay. All right, lift your shin bones off of the mat. We're going to roll forward into plank pose. All right, so we're going to roll over the tops of our knees. So lift the lower legs up and then roll, hinge forward into plank. All right, so now we've got the hands pressed into the earth. I want you to really spread your shoulder blades across your back, front body to the back body. Strong plank here. This is putting a lot of pressure on the wrists. So if that's not feeling good for you today, you can use those blocks on your forearms, right? And that'll take the pressure off the wrist. But putting pressure and stress on the wrist, guess what that's going to do? Build bone cells, right? But if you have an injury, don't do it. All right, press back into your extended puppy. All right, nothing wrong with using the forearms if you have an injury or you're headed for surgery. Then roll over the tops of those knees again. Re-engage, so press the mat away from you. Push the hands into the earth. Draw the front body to the back body. Feel that strength. We're going to hold it for at least 8 to 10 seconds to start building those bone cells, right? And we're going to do that one more time. So shift back. Nice lengthen the spine. Open the shoulders up. Good. And then lift those lower legs up and come forward into plank again. 2, 3, 7, 8, 10. Good. All right. Find your blocks. Find those blocks. And bring the blocks to the front edge of your mat. Everybody doing okay? So far, so good? All right, you got your blocks here. Okay, we're gonna do a low lunge. So we're coming onto the knees, or if you're gonna use the back of the chair, you're gonna bring your left foot forward between the blocks or under the chair. Now here you have option, okay? This is not a have to. Curling the toes under, lift and lower the knees just a couple times, really slowly. If you're not going to do it, I want you to just isometrically scissors your legs away from each other so that front shin goes forward, the back knee goes back, squeeze the back glute, and just be light on the fingertips. That's a really good option. So lift and lower, or make sure you're scissoring. Even if you're lifting and lowering, still scissors that front, send that front shin forward. All right, 2 more. Last one, good. And keep that knee down. We're going to take the left hand, right hand's going to stay on the block. Left hand comes to the hip, elbow presses back. Lengthen from the pelvis to the crown of the head. Draw the belly in and gently twist, a gentle twist. Now, if you have osteoporosis, twists should not be in your wheelhouse, right? If you have osteoporosis, twists are usually contraindicated. So you want to do an as if, you're lengthening and engaging as if you're twisting. And then come back to center, send that back foot back, shake it out, and bring the other foot forward. All right. You are going to isometrically scissors your legs away from each other, squeezing that back glute light on the fingertips, or if you choose, keep sending that front shin forward and lift and lower with your breath a few times. Feel that strength in your thigh bone, that back glute, keep squeezing that. 2 more. Nice and easy, not rushing through anything today. Last one. Good. Perfect. Now keep the left hand on the block, right hand on the hip, elbow presses back, lengthen from the pelvis to the crown, gently twist toward the right. And back to center and bring that foot back. We're going to sink into a child's pose using your hands on the blocks. So place the blocks out in front of you. Place your hands on the blocks. Take your knees out wide, big toes together, and slowly start to sink the hips in the direction, the hips in the direction of the heels, only as far as the flexion of the knees will allow. Head comes between the upper arms. There's a big stretch in the shoulders as well with the arms up like this. You want to press the hands into the blocks and isometrically slide the heels of the hand towards your hips, really going to engage the back body. 1 more breath here. Beautiful. Press back up, move the blocks out of the way. And this is not going to feel good in everyone. So I want to show you what you're going to do before you do it. I'm going to turn this way. You have to decide if this is going to be right for you. We're going to take our knees even wider and try to get the feet, this is froggy pose, and try to get the feet in line, the ankles in line with the knees, and flex the feet. Coming down on the forearms, and then just shift the hips back a little bit. Shift the hips back. That's putting a little bit of stretch and strain on the hip joint. So that's the forward view. This would be the side view. Just sending those hips back. So it's a nice widening of the hips, flexing the feet to protect the knees. Shift those hips back just a little bit. Feel that opening. Stacy's going, heck no. All right, 1 more breath. Feel that in your hips. All right, press back up. And we are going to come to standing. So come to standing in whatever way works best for you. All right. Shake it out, clear the mat. We'll all meet in loose coat sleeves as we're all getting into position. Got a joke for you. Why did the skeleton cross the road? Because he saw a body shop. I told you they were corny. Okay, shake it all out. And let's just do a little bit of movement and awareness with our shoulders. So fingertips on the shoulders, lift the elbows up towards the ears, back down and around. Inhale and exhale. We've opened our shoulders up already. So maybe you're getting a little bit more lift to those elbows than you normally do. 2 more, inhale and exhale. Last one. Good, arms out to the side, palms face up, reach the arms up to your level of comfort overhead, and then turn the palms away, lower those arms down. Really keep the arms active and engaged as if they're going through that warm, thick honey. 2 more, breathe in and breathe out. Think about here, your beautiful mountain pose. And every time you reach the arms up, lengthening up. Stay here, keep the arms up overhead, pause for just a moment. Find your breath, use your ujjayi if you need to. Draw the belly in and send the tailbone down toward the heels. One more breath here. As we hold these poses, we again are strengthening, stretching, and building bone cells. Lower left arm down, please, and crescent over toward that left side. Now hold on if you need that support, but if not, take that left hand and push in front of your belly toward the opposite direction. Right, so nice stretch here. Feel that opening in the side body, and you're using all the strength to hold you up here. So now can you use your side body muscles to lift you back up, come to a T, stretch and lengthen, engage the arms. So you're not just hanging them out there, you're really stretching and bringing that tricep muscle up. So engage that, and then take the opposite side. And maybe the fingertips on those right fingers reach for the heels to get that stretch. And then see if you can't press that right arm in front of you to get a little bit more work going in the side body. And now with the breath, inhales, come to a T. Exhale, crescent to the left, push or hold. Inhale, come to a T. And exhale, crescent to the right. Beautiful. And back to center to a T. Lower the arms down to the side. And bend your elbows in front of you. All right, lift the elbows at shoulder height. Bring fingertips together, heel of the hand, and then soften your shoulders down toward away from your ears. And slowly start to draw the elbows in the direction of each other as the chin lowers in the direction of the chest. Squeeze the forearms, squeeze the palms, everything toward the midline, and lift the crown of the head as you get all the wrinkles out of the back of the neck so that the chin is tilted toward the chest. Nice big stretch across the back of the shoulders. Soften those shoulders down. Good. One more breath here. And open the arms out to the side. From the top of the arm bone, internally rotate. Thumbs are down. Bend at the elbows. Make a fist with your hands. And we're going to place those fists right at the above the pelvic bone, all right, on either side of the spine. If they reach, if they don't reach, bring them to where they do reach. Try to press the knuckles into the tissue right above the pelvis. Press in and up, in and up. And what that's going to do is stimulate those back muscles that support the vertebral column. And then from here, we want to soften the knees and lift up from your thoracic spine. So you're pressing in and up, stimulating the erector spinae muscles to support the spine. And then lift up through the thoracic spine, the breastbone. Lift the breastbone forward, shine your heart forward. That's giving all that space to those thoracic vertebrae. Okay, one more breath here and release that. And just notice the difference. Shake it out. I need to give myself a little bit more headspace. Hang on. We all need headspace, right? All right. Now we're going to take that open heart from and do a warrior one. Warrior one is intended to be a back bend. So what you just did was a back bend, and back bends are really a lot of work for the muscles and the bones. So do it to your level of comfort. So hands on the hips, come to your mountain pose. Now take that right foot and turn it out 45 degrees. Soften the knees and step the left foot forward into warrior one. Nice wide base of support here, all right? Bend to that front knee as low as feels right for you. Big stretch in the back of the calf. So press the feet into the earth. Roll the shoulders back. Open the arms out to the side. Rotate internally. Thumbs are down. Bend the elbows. Give yourself that little press in the back body. Press in and up. Support that spine. And then from the thoracic spine, can you lift your heart space up? Take the eye gaze slightly up. Don't kink your neck back. Keep the head and neck in a decent alignment there. One more breath. Oh, and release that. Hands back on the hips. Come on the ball of that back foot and step forward. How'd that feel? Okay. All right, let's do the other side. So come to taking the left toes 45 degrees, soften the knees, step that right foot forward, bend to that front knee. Hip points are only facing as forward as the knees feel okay. So don't torque yourself and twist your knee. Give yourself wider space. Roll the shoulders back, arms out to the side, internally rotate from the top of the shoulder joint. Bend the elbows, make a fist, press in and up, in and up. And then lift from the heart space. Side view here. So we're not crunching the lower back. We're supporting the lower back. We're lifting the heart. One more breath. This is called extension of the spine. And release. Extension is fine and good for osteoporosis. Flexion is not so fine, which is what we're going to do next. If you have osteoporosis, flexion is the rounding. None of us should be doing that, all right? But we are gonna hinge from the hip crease and do a forward fold. And with osteoporosis, you should go no more than 45 degrees in your forward fold. If you have osteopenia, okay, but always support with the thighs, a chair, blocks, something. We never dangle, right? So we're gonna do pranam. You're gonna do it to your level of appropriateness for your bone density, okay? Find your mountain pose. Isometrically, with your feet pressed into the earth, isometrically draw your legs away from each other. So you're gonna feel the race stripes on the side of your legs fire up. That's gonna make more space in your sacrum, okay? Inhale the arms overhead, isometrically spread those legs away from each other. Exhale, soften the knees, hinge from the hip crease. Hands on the thighs, stay here if this is where you need to be, or slide the hands to the shins or the blocks, chair, whatever is working for you, wall. Allow the crown of the head to release toward the earth just a bit. We're going to pause here for a moment. Take your proprioceptive awareness. How is my back in space? Is it straight? Am I rounded? Can I draw the shoulder blades on the back a bit more? Breath here. Now shift your weight to the balls of your feet and lift your heels up a bit. Can you without falling on your head? And then try to keep your hips exactly where they are and just lower your heels. That's going to keep the ankles in line with the hip bone. All right, we're going to come back up. The best way to come back up, especially if you have low bone density, is to bring your hands onto your thighs and press yourself up. All right. The other option, if your spine is fine, hands on the hips with the elbows back, rooting down through your feet, come to standing. Now let's do that as a pranam. Remember everything that you know, what you know about yourself. All right, so inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold to your best place. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, deepen that fold to wherever you are. Bend the knees a lot, come up the way you need to. Root the feet down, come to standing. Inhale those arms overhead, palms together. Lower the hand down to the heart. One more time, breathe in, arms up. Breathe out, fold forward. Good for the core, all this up and down stuff. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, deepen that fold. Keep those knees soft. Weight on the front of the feet. All right, bend the knees a lot. Come up the way you know you need to. Root those feet down, reach the arms up overhead, palms together, and hands come down to the heart. Beautiful. All right, shake it out. We're gonna grab our weights now, okay? I got another joke for you. Don't wanna miss this one. How much does a pile of bones weigh? A skeleton. A skeleton. These are good for your grandkids. There's a surprisingly large amount of jokes with bones. Some of them aren't appropriate. Okay. All right, we've already done our wrists, so now we're going to do our biceps. You can do these seated or standing. If you're standing, I'm going to give you some multitasking to do. So find your mountain pose, and with our biceps, we are going to bring fingertips to shoulders. All right, squeezing those bicep muscles, and your option is to shift the weight to the heels of your feet, bend the knees, and do a mini chair with that. All right, so you do the mini chair as you bring the fingertips to the shoulders. Make 3 more. 1, 2, good. And then next time we're going to take our arms out to the 45-degree angle. All right, so they're not all the way out to the side, they're at a 45. Your bicep has 2 different connections, so you need to get both of them. I was with my son-in-laws this weekend. They're a couple of meatheads. One's running a Ironman, half Ironman or something. So they taught me a couple of things this weekend. 2 more. And last one. Good. All right, roll the shoulders back. Now, with you roll the shoulders back, turn your palms facing away from you. When you do triceps, you don't want to come forward of the seam of your pants. So you want to keep the tricep muscle activated. So roll the shoulders back, press back, and then a little gentle toward each other. That's where you're really going to feel it. And then release it, but not past the seam of your pants. Soften your knees, press back, gentle together, and release. All right, so here is your multitask. If you choose, you're going to step forward, back, and release. Step forward, press back, together, and release. Step forward, press back, together, release. Just a little step forward. You're really going to work the thigh muscle, stretch the calf muscle behind you. 2 more, press back. And if this takes away from your ability to focus on what you're doing with your tricep muscle, don't do the legs. Last one, good. Okay, goal post. Did you feel that? I felt that. All right, now we're working the deltoids and the shoulders. So palms face forward, and then palms face your face with your elbows in front of you, blocking your view. And your shoulders are as much in line with your elbows as you can get. Your elbows are in line with your shoulders. What I'd like to invite you to do, if you choose, is a slow march, lifting the knee at the same time. This is a balance challenge. I don't want you to go real fast so that you can. So if you have to lower the foot down, go ahead and lower the foot down before you bring the arms back. That's okay. But if you can do it all together, there you go. Let's do 3 more. Building bone cells, right? Not just by doing the weights, but also by our stretches and our own body weight. Roll the shoulders out. All right. Here's our Peloton move. All right. Arms come forward, but lower than your shoulders, right? Thumbs are up. Thumbs touch the shoulders. Elbows lift up toward the sky. Upper arm in line with the ear. This is what my son-in-law told me. It's called skull crusher, which is a horrible name, but you can see what could happen. Arms overhead, and then bend the elbows and don't crush your skull. 3 times. 2, it's a tricep press. 3, don't be arching your back. I'm only bending my knee so you can see. All right, bring your arms back forward, elbows in line with the hips, and press back as you squeeze the shoulder blades together. Arms come forward, squeeze the shoulder blades, arm forward, squeeze the shoulder blades. and lower back down. We're gonna do that 2 more times, okay? Find your breath. Arms forward, but lower than shoulders. Thumbs touch the shoulders, lift the elbows up. Draw the belly in, don't arch the back. 3 tricep press. 1, 2, 3. Lower the arms back down, bend the elbows, press the elbows back. 1, forward, 2, and 3. Good, last one. Arms forward, bend the elbows, touch the thumbs, elbows lift, arms up, skull crush. 2, I hate that name. And 3, triceps press, straighten the arms, lower back down slowly, bend the elbows, squeeze shoulder blades together, right? That's how we're going to keep the heart lifted. And last one. Nice. Lower the arms down. All right. Everybody okay? All right. Take your left foot forward, and your left hand's going to rest on your left thigh. And your right foot's back behind you. Dangle your right arm down in front of, in line with your shoulder. And then just lift the elbow up and press the elbow back. Call this the lawnmower starter. All right, press back, hold it there. When you get it back there, just pause for a moment, squeeze the shoulder blades together. This one's really good to, you want to bring it up towards your ribs and back. Toward the ribs and back. This one's really good to strengthen the space between your shoulder blades to keep your heart lifted. 2 more. 1 and 2. Keep the head and neck in alignment, and let's switch. All right. So the right foot's forward, the left arm's dangling down, wrist in line with the shoulder. Bring the weight up to the ribs, press the elbow back. Now see how we're really pulling it back? You don't want to just lift it, you want to pull it back towards your midline so you can really strengthen the middle of the back. Let's do 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. All right, good. Okay, well, let's put those down. I don't know about you, but I am sweating. All right, now a couple of Lauren Fishman, Dr. Fishman's poses. Believe it or not, we've only just begun those, I think. I'll get back to that in a minute. We're going to do warrior 2. That's one of them. So take a nice wide stance. Use your chair if you need to. Use the wall, your foot in the wall if you need to. You know all those modifications. Tailbone lengthens toward the floor. I'm going to start with this left side. Turn the left toes facing the short edge of the mat. And then kick your right heel back just a bit. Now he says take that tailbone and rotate it so you get a little internal rotation of that back right leg. So the tailbone kind of points in the direction of that right leg. Here comes a gentle twist. So the collarbones from the ribs and the thoracic spine are going to twist toward the front. But if that hurts your knee, face more at a diagonal. All right, stretch the arms out to the side. Engage. Can you lift them up a little higher? It's going to create a little more stress on those joints in a good way. Plug the head of the arm bone into the shoulder. So can you get your back body engaged, shoulder blades together? That's a lot right there. What's happened to your tricep muscle? Squeeze it. Lengthen, bend that front knee. Now open, use your inner thigh. We did that hip opener at the beginning of practice. So use that opening to make sure that kneecap's hovering over the top of the foot. And then gently turn your neck, chin parallel, and look over your left fingertips. All right, we're just going to hang out here for a little bit. And you know, with osteoarthritis, it typically feels better to move and be dynamic. But these static stretches are actually one of the ways to build bone strength. Static muscle stretching and holding. One more breath here. All right, bring the hands to the hips. See if you can keep that knee bent. Lengthen. We're going to do extended side angle. So we're not going to collapse through the ribs. We're going to hinge from the hip crease. We've done a lot of side bending. So hinge from the hip, and then see if you can't get that hand, that right hand on the right thigh, or maybe If you can hinge low enough, keeping the heart open, you can bring that forearm onto the thigh, but not if it creates this forward movement. I'd rather your hands support the weight of your thigh. You hinge forward, and this is extended side angle. So you can keep your right elbow where it is, or slide the arm up overhead, or maybe the upper arm comes in line with the ear, and soften your left shoulder down a little bit. Good. Nice. All right, bring their right hand down, press the hand into the thigh, turn your toes facing forward. Hands on the thighs, keep them on the thighs. We're just going to hinge forward with a nice straight spine. All right, stay right here. Wobble the pelvis side to side. Wobble that pelvis, get a little stretch in the inner thigh. Connect with your breath. This is where you might think about Ujjayi breathing. Good. Soften the knees, press back up, and heel toe, or just find a way to get your feet back into center. Shake those legs out. And just do a little cross crawl for in between. Opposite hand to knee. This is our little brain fitness activity. And then instead of tapping the knees, can you tap the shoulder? Cross over and tap the shoulder. And then sequence, knee, knee, shoulder, shoulder, knee, knee, shoulder, shoulder, knee. We'll walk in the park here. You can slow it down if you want. Last series. Good. All right, ready for the other side? Shake it all out and take a nice wide stance. Hands on the hips, roll those elbows back, right leg. Lift your right toes up. That's dorsiflexion right there. If you can lift that foot up, when I had my back surgery, I could not dorsiflex. It's still hard for me to do that. Kick your left heel back. Collarbones face forward, if that's right for the knees. Tailbone lengthens and then turns a little bit toward that back left thigh. Take a gentle bend to the knee this time. Open up through the inner thigh. Peek down. Can you open up enough to see that kneecap's hovering over the foot? Sweep the arms out to the side. Engage, engage. Plug the head of the arm bone in. Chin's parallel. Look over the right shoulders. There's another little fun fact about osteoporosis. If you lose a ½ an inch in a year, or a total inch and a half of your height, consider getting a new doctor. No, better workout, better workup. You probably had a DEXA scan. All right, one more breath here. And hands come to the hips. And let's do that extended side angle. So lengthen, hinge from your hip crease. Hand comes onto the thigh. Use that to help really lengthen your spine. Open your heart forward. Stay here or slide your left thumb up overhead. Or maybe if it's the shoulders really open, you can bring that upper arm in line with the ear. All right, one more breath, two more breaths. It's about 20 seconds, right? We typically hold poses longer than 8 seconds anyway at some point. And then press that hand into the thigh, lower the arm down, turn your toes facing forward and heel toe back to center. All right, so warrior two, extended side angle. Let's do a triangle and then reverse triangle, and I'll show you a nice way to do that. And this is Colleen's way of doing it. I love Colleen's way of doing triangle. Okay, take a nice wide stance. Start with that left foot, turn the left toes facing the front edge of the mat, and then turn your whole torso to face that front left thigh. Hinge forward a quarter fold. Put your left hand on your left thigh or the back of the hand on the inside edge of your left knee. Right hand's on the hip. Roll that shoulder back, elbow points back behind you, and then use your torso to twist toward the front. All right, so that right elbow is pointing back behind you. The right hand's either on the thigh. You're hinging from that hip crease. And you got this nice triangular line. You're not collapsed into it. All right. Do less of a triangle rather than collapse into trying to get what you think is a full triangle. All right. Now bring your left hand back on your thigh. Lift back up a little bit. Turn your torso toward the front again. Hinge forward, and this time we're going to take the, what hand is this? The right hand and place it on that left thigh. You're going to take your left hand and place it on your left hip. Now, if you have osteoporosis, don't do this. And then just a gentle twist toward the left. This is reverse triangle. There's a way to do this in the chair, which I showed in my extra gentle class yesterday. And it's on the video if you want to watch it on my Nothing Fancy website. All right, come back to center. Bend that front knee, press up. Let's give our feet a break. So bring the feet back together. All right, doing well. Let's do our triangle on this side. 2 more of his poses, right? So come to that nice wide stance. Turn your right toes facing forward. Kick your left heel back. Lengthen your spine. Turn your torso toward that front right thigh. Hinge forward a quarter fold. This is your basic triangle. Right hand on the right thigh or the back of the hand on the inside edge of that knee. Left hand's on your hip. Roll the shoulder back. Point the elbow back behind you. And then use that to help open up your heart toward the front. Now, try not to let the head flop. Keep the head and neck in alignment. Working those neck muscles as well. Good. That's a good 10, 12 seconds, right? Place your right hand back on your thigh, twist back towards center. Now take your left hand, put it on your right knee. Right hand comes on the hip. Roll that elbow back and a very gentle twist toward the right. Reverse triangle. You should really feel that a lot in the outer front thigh. All right, twist back toward front, take a bend to that knee, press back up, heel toe walk your feet back to center. Okay, another one of his is tree, okay? So you'll have a wall, maybe a chair, some type of prop. All right, we're gonna shift our weight over to that prop leg. Hand on the hip, shift that weight, root that foot down, ground that leg strong. Come up on the ball of the opposite toe, turn that knee out to the side. Reach the other arm up over the one that's not holding on to the chair out to the side. Now you can stay right here, or you can lift the foot, place it on the ankle or on the calf, not on the knee. Now press the foot into the leg to help open that knee out to the side. That's a little bit more stress on those ligaments and tendons, right? Using the muscle strength. Good. And then see if you can feather tap with your opposite hand. Feel this, the grounded leg, how strong that grounded leg. Takes a lot of work for that. More breath. And then lower that down. Shake it out. And we'll go to the other side. So you can turn around if you want. Use your wall, move your chair, whatever works best for you. All right. So hit your mountain pose, shift your weight towards your balance prop, come up on the ball of the opposite foot, turn that knee out to the side. Just notice if one hip feels a little stickier than the other. Reach your arm out to the side, and then you decide where you're going to put your tree trunk. Press the foot into the leg, leg into the foot, little feather tapping. Keep that core strong and balanced. Draw that belly in. Use your drishti. Find something in front of you that's not moving. Ujjayi. Let go of the stories. Good. And release that. And shake it out. Woo. Okay. Guys are doing great. You're wearing me out. Okay, Ardha Mastrayandasana is another one. So you're going to need to sit on plenty of blankets to make sure you can sit in Dandasana with your legs straight out and your spine long and tall. Okay, so if you need to grab a cushion or your bolster or another blanket, go ahead and do that. And we're going to sit down with our legs out in front of us. Should have another joke. What was it? Oh, I could tell you a joke about bones, but some people would not find it humorous. That's your arm bone, duh. Okay. So you're sitting straight out, trying to find the list of all the bones, which I had somewhere. Okay. All right. You're sitting, legs are out nice and tall. Plug the head of the leg bone into your pelvis. Hands come back behind you. Press the legs down into the earth and lift and spread your toes. Feel that stretch in the hamstrings. And then with this nice straight L of your body, see if you can release your hands and maintain the integrity of that pose. We're going to bend the right knee, place your hands on the outside of that leg. Stay here or cross it over the extended leg. And because we're doing gentle, we're going to do an open twist. So reach through your right arm up overhead, twist towards the right, and lower that. Start over. I don't like that. Okay. Come back to holding your shin. Lengthen. Take your left hand and place it by your hip, and then just gently twist toward the left. Keep pressing out through the heel of the foot of that extended leg. Shoulders are soft, belly's drawn in. One more breath here. And then come back to center, and we'll switch sides. So the right leg's extended, left knee is bent. Hold on to that outside of the shin. Really plug that extended leg into the pelvis. Sit nice and tall. Cross it over if you choose. Continue holding on with your left hand. And then just sweep the right arm back behind you a bit. It might help you if you want to reach the arm up overhead to get more length in your spine and then twist towards the right. Sometimes that helps people too. Keep your head and neck in alignment with your breastbone. And we'll just hold it for another breath or two. Ardha Mastrandasana, half Lord of the Fishes. And then draw that belly in, gently twist back towards center. Uncross your feet. And then let's come onto our backs. You need your strap for Supta Pada Angustaasana. Okay. All right. When you lie back, just notice where your body takes that wonderful sigh. Let your spine release down toward the earth. Stay in constructive rest for a moment. Let the hip flexors just soften. And unfurl your strap. And Supta Pada Angustaasana number 1 and number 2 are 2 of his. So we're going to bring the strap around the base of the right foot and bring the right knee in line with the right shoulder to start to plug the head of the leg bone in. Some of you may want to extend your left leg long. Go ahead, but if that doesn't feel good in your back, keep your knee bent. Straighten your leg long and low. So get it straight. Make sure your pelvis is balanced. And then slowly lift the leg up, only as long as it can stay straight. Slide your hands down the strap, snuggle the shoulder blades behind your back. Press out through the heel of your foot and get that full length, that full advantage of the stretch. Come to your Ujjayi breath, 2 or 3 Ujjayi breaths here. Each exhalation with Ujjayi, see if you can't draw those toes a little closer to your head. Only if the legs stay straight and long. Good. Now place both straps in your right hand. If you have sacroiliac instability, bend your knee of that left leg and take your left knee out to the left side as you take your right leg out to the right side. So we're just balancing the weight on the pelvic bone so you're not creating more sacroiliac instability. If your sacrum is fine, feel free to keep your leg long, but your hand should stay on your hip point so you're not rotating toward the right. You're trying to keep your pelvis nice and level on the mat. Use as much strength as you can too. If you're holding on for, dear life with your hands, see if you can't lighten up the hold with your strap and use more muscle energy to hold that leg up. Maybe it doesn't go down as far, but you're using more muscle strength. That's what's going to build those bone cells, muscle and bone cells. And then slowly lift your leg back up and swap feet out. And first, bring that left knee in the direction of the left shoulder. Good. Plug it in. Extend it long, not high. Maybe your right leg extends long, maybe not. All right, press out through the heel of the foot. Make sure that leg is plugged in as it reaches long. Toes towards the nose. Soften the grip on your strap. Use your ujjayi breathing. And then when you're ready, go ahead and if you have SI instability, bend the right knee, take the right knee out to the right side as the left leg goes out to the left side long. Take another breath in. And use your muscle strength. Bring that leg back up toward the ceiling, bend the knee, and remove the strap. Okay. Another one of Dr. Fishman's is bridge. All right. Really good for lifting the heart, giving the thoracic spine space, strengthening the legs, the hips. So you want to snuggle your shoulder blades under your back as you bend your elbows with your palms facing across your torso. Your heels are relatively close to your hips unless your knees don't allow for that. All right. I want you to see if you can't lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. So that is going to put you in a little bit of a posterior pelvic tilt. So you're flattening out your lumbar spine. All right. Press the backs of the arms and the heels of the feet into the earth. And then slowly lift your hips and torso up off the earth. The nose is pointing towards the ceiling. Don't let your head turn sideways. And the goal is to try to hold this for about 30 seconds. We had been doing homework of 10 reps for 10 seconds, right? But this one's going to be a little bit longer. Here's another thing you can do if it doesn't hurt. See if you can't isometrically send your shins forward, and you'll really feel the hamstrings fire up. So again, you're creating a little more stress and pressure, stress in a good way, use stress on those joints and those bones. And then slowly lower back down. We're going to try that 2 more times. All right, see how that feels. Let the spine release. Take a breath in, flatten out your lumbar spine. Press the backs of the arms and the heels of the feet into the earth. Lift the hips and torso. Lift up through that thoracic spine. So lift your heart space up towards the sky and send your shins forward, trying to keep the weight more on the heels of the feet. Slowly lower back down. One more time. All right, flatten the lumbar spine so tailbone points toward the heels. Backs of the arms and feet press into the earth. Lift the hips and torso. If it doesn't feel good to be that static, that still, then the dynamic feels better for you. By all means, this is your practice. Do what works in your body. Use a little bit of ujjayi breath. It's a little challenging, but if you breathe in regularly and just a little exhalation, ujjayi, let go of those stories. Good. And release. Nice. Okay, good. Draw those knees in towards the chest one at a time or both. Rock side to side, or if you have SI instability, put your hands on your knees and row the knees. Keep that weight balanced on your pelvis, right? This is going to create a little bit of tension on one side versus the other. You're rowing, go the other direction as well. And then lower those feet down, take them as wide as the mat and the arms out to a T, and drop the knees gently to the right with the shoulders reaching toward the earth. Flex your feet and see if you want a nice stretch across the top of that left thigh. Take your right ankle, and gently place it on top of the left, above the left knee, and gently draw it toward the earth. That's not a have to. Nothing's a have to, you know that. I'm taking a training with Doug Keller this weekend. He's my boyfriend. I love him. I have such a crush on him. I'm just kidding, but he's a great teacher, and it's all on the psoas. So I'm going to have some really cool stuff to teach you about the psoas in a few weeks after I study it. A psoas is the muscle that connects the torso to the legs. All right, release the ankle. That's what you were just stretching. Lift the knee up, bring the other knee up, realign your spine, and then take the knees the other direction. Stay here or flex your feet and bring your left ankle gently on top of the right knee. Find your breath. Beautiful. When you're ready, go ahead and release that. And bring those knees back into the chest, or do your own prana response. What is it that your body is still seeking? What does it need to feel like you can settle into Shavasana? And if you want to do legs up the wall or legs on a chair, the shins on a chair, oh my goodness, what a treat for your body. As long as the knee is in line with the hip, so you want to scoot your buttocks really close to the the legs of the chair or the ottoman, so that you can really anchor the pelvis down and get those knees directly over top of the pelvis. Oh, that's such a treat for the body. And do your Shavasana that way. If you're having lower back discomfort, you can take your feet as wide as the mat, pigeon toe the toes in, and draw the knees toward each other so that you are taking all the pressure. The legs don't have to hold anything. Just give your body a break. You've worked hard today. I'm going to find those 12 poses if it kills me here. And then take a couple of breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And let go of the conscious breath and allow the breath to breathe itself as you enjoy a well-deserved Shavasana, which is also one of his poses. So begin to come back into this space, first with your beautiful breath. Enjoy a full, rich breath in and take a long, slow breath out. And then taking your awareness to your amazing bones. Start wiggling those fingers that have no muscles, using your hands and forearms to make them move. Draw the knees up towards your chest, rock side to side. That hip and thoracic spine, getting all that attention as well, because they take some abuse with osteoporosis. And roll over onto your favorite side for just a moment to pause and think about how many bone cells you just created. Thickening those bones, shifting the balance of use versus, well, kind of like my bank account. Trying to shift that balance. And then press the hands into the earth. Come to a comfortable seat for yourself. And bring the hands together in front of your heart. And just enjoy this beautiful day and know that all the light and love that's in my heart honors that same light and love in all of yours.